we had some sails just blow up on top of us. Top's done got slick and I can't get no traction, so definitely looks like we won't be doing any corn shelling in the morning, that's for dang sure.
So we have shelled a total of 155 acres in 3.5 days. My job's kind of boring. All I do is basically go get the corn and then I dump the corn, occasionally get yelled at, go dump the corn again, and then rinse and repeat. So my job's very boring and this is what I do all day. So I just have to pay attention and watch where he's going and just same thing, rinse, repeat, go get the corn, dump the corn, come back. And we're normally home about 8:30 at night, and then I have to get up very early Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 o'clock to go take a kid to school. He's got practice, and then I have to figure out you know, what time does he get out of school. He stays late for getting help, and then they have conditioning. So I'm very grateful for my parents because they have been volunteering to go get Carter so I don't have to leave the field. When we get closer to Jackson, I think it'll be way easier to go get him. But right now he's about 10 miles away, so yeah, it looks like he's eating lunch, so that's all she wrote for me.
Looks like Andy's down there and inspecting the tire, seeing if our fix is still holding.
Well, I say that, and right now she's got about maybe an inch of clearance from the side. I don't know if it's just because it's fully loaded right now or what.
Did it look like the welds were cracked or anything, or could you tell?
The one on the closest to the inside, it still looks good, but I can't see it on the front one.
I shimmed up that bushing a little bit to where it wouldn't put stress on the welds, and that's going to put it about the same position as whenever it was broke. So I don't expect to have the same clearances on the other side, but as long as the welds not cracking, we're all right.
Well, the back one looks like it's still holding pretty good, so we've got one more weld to break before the tire comes off.
The first welds held 10 years or so. That's about when we put those scales on, 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. So if these welds last another 12 years, I have my doubts if we're going to have the same grain cart that we do now. It'll be somebody else's problem. Looks like we might have a little damp weather moving up our way. This rain's starting to get a little bit closer. I want to try and get one more truckload cut, and we might call it a day after that.
Do you know how long it's supposed to be raining for? Is it going to be like a long rain, a short rain, a quick rain?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's a pretty big patch. It's fairly light. I don't think we're going to get a whole heck of a lot, but make things pretty damp. Another rain would still help the top crop on the cotton and help the double crop soybeans. So we get one. I'm not going to complain. All right, it's starting to get a little dim. Let there be light. That's better. Well, we don't like too much more than this big bottom, and it's been running that yield up. And we got an average yield on this farm of 185, which is the best we've ever made on this farm, and considering, you know, probably about 15 out of the 50 acres that we cut so far has been a really poor, thin hill. That's pretty dang good. I'm tickled with that. Yeah, I know I'm doing a lot of showing of the really high yields, you know, out in the middle of the field, but in reality, I mean, we got a lot around the edges, and I told you in the crop tour video, there were some holes around the edges and quite a few areas like that that's going to really pull our averages down. So while we're seeing, you know, 220, 230, 250 out in the middle of the fields, we got a whole lot of field borders on these farms that make up a good part of the area. And, you know, some places, you know, right around the trees, you know, might only be making 60, 70, 80 bushels an acre, and it don't take many acres like that to bring your whole farm average down quite a bit. So that's why I'm extremely happy with 185, because to get, you know, whole farm averages up there close to 200 here in West Tennessee, and I'm talking about whole farm averages, that's pretty dang good, especially considering the type of ground we're working with. See, like all right up through here, you know, this is a wet area too, you know, had kind of a thin stand, you know, it's running 120, 130 bushels. So, you know, you got 24 rows around the outside edges of the field that's, you know, making 150 or less. That'll pull down your average in a hurry. But what I think I'm going to try to do next spring, if I have the time and the weather allows, I've been meaning to do it for a while, but I've got a single shank subsoiler that going to hook behind our loader tractor and drive around the edge of fields where we've got trees and sink that thing down in the ground as far as the 3-point hitch will allow. Try and cut a lot of those roots coming from the trees over into the field, you know, robbing us of nutrients and especially moisture. Yeah, I bet, you know, we could easily add another 25 to 30% to our yield on those first pass or two right there around the edges of the field. You know, we really can't do anything for the shade. You know, the shade, especially early in the morning, late afternoon next to tree lines, really hurts the yield a lot. But, you know, we can't do anything with that unless we just want to completely clear cut, take a track hoe and completely clear all the tree lines out, which, you know, I don't want to do. But we can do something about a lot of the roots. So it'd definitely be a very cheap and cost-effective fix. There's that mysterious sprayer blight disease again that I keep on seeing. I'm just messing with you, Andy. That's where Andy was first starting to learn how to follow rows and trying to keep the thing centered. It's really hard when you can't see the front wheels on the sprayer and never having sprayed before, and got a little bit off on the rows and run over some. A lot of my corn's got that, but I tell you what, once I explained to Andy kind of the trick that I use to keep it centered up on the row, make sure that middle right there that you're straddling, especially when you're going around a curve, make sure that middle goes up the crack of your butt sitting in the seat, and you'll be centered right on the rows. Once he started doing that, he's done a phenomenal job spraying. You know, he did a whole lot of spraying in cotton, and he run over less cotton than I did spraying all summer long. So I think he got that sprayer thing figured out, doing a heck of a job.
All right, so we're on the last truck and just realized something pretty cool. All right, here's the radio, right? And there's Andy. Oh, we're tag teaming, what's up? All right, ready, Andy, for the magic trick?
Let's see him.
Here's my radio, watch this. Lights on, lights off. Lights off, lights on.
How?
Wait, I'll turn those on, ready, and everybody. Oh wait, that one goes off. That one goes on. It's just these right here.
It's just those backwards.
It just, that's so insane.
That's pretty true.
So these lights, every time I press this radio, watch. Hey, we might need to fix that. I don't know. Whatever. It's a nice party trick.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Strobe your lights just by clicking the button.
I should just strobe my lights. I mean, if it ain't broke, it's not on this farm. So, last truck of the day, and yeah, that's funny. Oh, don't you love farming?
Well, I know y'all can't hardly see it, but it's just starting to spit a little bit of rain, so it's gonna get damp pretty quick, and we just got enough corn shell to fill the truck up. But even though it might be getting a little too damp to shell corn, that ground's still good and dry. So take a big guess where I'm going after I blow the combine off. That's right, I'm gonna go hop back on that Magnum, see if I can knock out a few more acres over there on the Ferguson farm. It'll probably be about 8:45, 9 o'clock before I can start. So if I can get a good 3 hours or so on it, be that many more acres, be ready for some 4-bale cotton next year. All right, let's see if this thing pulls any easier now that we actually got a gauge wheel keeping it from going down to China. Oh yeah, it sure seems like it's not pulling as hard. Ain't no telling how deep it was going down on that side last night. Oh yeah, it's pulling a lot easier. So maybe my compaction issue wasn't as bad as I thought. I was just running that thing way too deep. Oh, there's a tough spot though. Well, I gotta say, man, this tractor is some kind of nice. You know, the cab's laid out differently than my New Hollands, but you know, essentially, you know, Case and New Holland share like 85 or 90% of the parts. They all come from the same company. The controls are laid out a little bit differently. I actually prefer the New Holland controls the way they're laid out. I like the throttle handle or the CVT handle better in the New Hollands than what I do the Case IH, but I do like this bigger style tractor. You're sitting up higher, it rides better. You know, definitely got more power, and I'm definitely digging this 340, man. Jordan, you got you some kind of a nice tractor, man. And something else, man, this lighting package is out of this world. I mean, it's got 360-degree LED lights. I mean, the sun might as well be out. I am loving this lighting package. It's been a long time since I drove a big tractor with a power shift, but the one big advantage of a power shift over the CVTs that we run is that it does put power down to the ground better than what CVTs do. So this is definitely the right tractor for the job. Although last night I was kind of thinking I probably needed a quad track with as tough as that thing was pulling, but now that we got that gauge wheel tire actually on there and it's doing something, this thing's not pulling near as hard. It's still definitely pulling hard. You know, it's getting down into that fragipan and really ripping it up. You know, I know we got some compaction out here, but really what it's digging down into is that naturally occurring fragipan, you know, because we don't have very much topsoil on top of it because all the topsoil's been eroded away. But any kind of compaction that we do have out here is definitely getting gone. Anyway, if this rain kind of lets up, I brought my drone with me. I'll get my drone up in there and let you see what this good looking tractor looks like at night with these 360-degree LEDs. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to call it quits. No chance to put the drone up. We had some sails just blow up on top of us. Just checked my weather station at home. We gotten over half an inch of rain, and while technically the subsoil is still good and dry and the plow do a good job, top's done got slick and I can't get no traction. So we probably got about another 7-8 acres covered anyway. So definitely looks like we won't be doing any corn shelling in the morning, that's for dang sure. Man, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting enough to get the streets damp or whatever, be like a heavy dew in the morning, and I certainly wasn't expecting this, although this rain made us some money. Those double crop soybeans, all 420 acres of them, they was getting bad thirsty. I mean, they was getting to the point they was starting to prematurely turn. So this rain right here ought to get those wheat beans, ought to finish them on out. I'm sure we lost a little bit of top end yield from this last patch of dry weather, but this right here ought to finish them off real nicely. But anyway, guys, I don't know what the next clip's going to be. I'll bring you back with something. I'm gonna go home, have me an early evening, and have some dinner before midnight.
Well, can you tell it just freshly rained last night? Well, we got about, Matt and Kelly, they were saying about right at an inch last night. At my house, I think we got like 3/10 or so, but getting out of the field, I thought I was gonna get stuck and it started spinning, but I'm leaving a little muddy gravel bunny foo-foo trail today. It's a little soft out here today. So all the fields and everything is nice and wet and soft, and when I say everything is nice and wet and soft, our new little expansion right here in the curve, man, that was a little nerve-wracking coming in here. I was gonna swing it wide to see how soft it was, and this is about as far as I made it on the first trail. So I backed up and kept going. There, backed up, there, backed up, there, backed up, and we finally ended up making it. But at least now we know under all this in my tire tracks it's definitely gonna be packed down. I'm just gonna have to run over the same ruts over and over again a couple more times. One day soon, that's gonna be just wonderful. And we get to test out the new tires and see how they're doing in the mud. I'd say they're doing pretty decent. They got caked up, but they definitely got me out of the field and definitely got me lined up with the grain bin. So I know when we get to going on the road, we get to test out how durable this fresh paint is too, because all those rock chips and mud. It's a great day to get dirty, I guess. .1, so 17.8 and 18.1. That's pretty good for having an inch of rain last night.
Alright guys, it's about 5 o'clock the next day. We actually wound up getting almost an inch of rain. I can't believe it. That rain right there ought to put the finishing touches on our cotton crop and our double crop soybean crop. So any more rain the rest of this harvest till we get our crop out is not going to be beneficial to us at all. But thank the good Lord for that rain that we got. It definitely made me a few bucks. So ground's actually pretty heavy. It ought to hold us up okay. We're going to try and keep the loads on the grain buggy light to make sure we don't compact the soil any. But we got about 10 acres left on this farm to do that we're going to get out, and then we got about 45 acres right across the tree line of some custom harvesting to do. We got to haul that to Tyson. Hopefully that rain didn't raise the moisture up on it too much. I kind of doubt it did. It takes a lot of extended wet weather to raise the moisture on corn once it's dried down. But anyway, we're gonna get this wrapped up, get this custom harvesting done, and then we'll bring you back whenever we get back on some of our farms. We'll be knocking on the door, being pretty close to halfway done at that point.
Well, the tires did a pretty decent job of cleaning out going down the road, which they got a little more mud in them now from pulling in the field, but yeah, I'd say they did a pretty decent job at throwing some rocks out of the tread. Our trailer survived. It's only got like little pieces. The underside not so much, but hey, that's what you get when you play in the mud. Get some muddy toys.
problem. Just another one to write on the list, right? Now that actually fell a couple of months ago. We kind of knew about it, but the landlord just informed us that there is a gentleman who would like to come and cut it down because it is an oak tree. So, come on, cut it down so we don't have to. That would be fabulous. I guess I could use that as decoration. I don't know. This is a farm that he plowed up, so it's very wet. I'm trying to stay on the high side so that I don't sink. So far, yeah. Get down there and it's really soft, and yeah, I'm not sinking this thing. We've already had enough problems today. Andy's had to wait in line a really long time, so it's just me and Matt out here until he gets back.
Well, we made it over here to Campbell Home Place. What I fully expected to be probably our highest yielding corn of the year. We didn't get done with our custom cutting job. We got off down in the bottom. It was a little bit planted a little bit later, and moisture jumped up there about 19% from 16%, and they're hauling that straight to the granary, so the dock was going to be too steep on it. So we pulled off a bit. We're going to get the rest of our corn harvest and go back and finish up the last 25 acres or so. If you remember back from this spring, this Campbell Home Place is a farm that we plowed up. It was real rough and we needed to smooth it out. Nice big bottom. You know, it's always yielded pretty good, never been just blow my mind good, but it's always yielded pretty good. And I fully expected with us doing all that plowing that we were going to see a 1 year huge bump in yields. And so far, it might change once we get out away from the tree line just a little bit more, but so far I'm pretty dang disappointed. I mean, we're just barely breaking 200, whereas on other bottom ground that we cut, same variety, planted almost the same day, I mean, it was 250 to 260 all the way down through the bottom. And here it is, it's sitting on 210, 215. I was expecting a whole lot better, just because from the simple fact of plowing the ground up gets a lot more oxygen down in the soil. The microbial population and activity really jumps up there for a temporary period, starts burning up a lot of your organic matter, gives you a good flush of nutrients to the crop. Now that's not sustainable. You know, once your organic matter starts getting depleted, then yields go down. That's one reason why we like no-till and cover crops, is to build our organic matter up. But in reality, normally plowing 1 year after having no-tilled a long time does give you a pretty sizable yield bump. And that's what I was expecting here, but I'm disappointed. I mean, this decal 6744 down here in this bottom being plowed up, I mean, I was expecting it to be 250 plus all the way, or at least most of the way across this bottom, and it ain't doing it. I mean, it's good corn, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I was just really expecting this to be a lot better than what it is. And something different I've noticed, if you look out there, you see very little green. I see a little bit of green in my refuge rows. That's Pioneer 1870. It's just a hair longer seasoned variety than what this 6744 is. But on our last farm that we got done with yesterday, same variety, planted pretty much the same day, you know, there was a lot more green in it on similar type ground, but this is completely dead. It's almost like this matured out a little bit quicker than what that 6744 on my no-till cover crop did. And I don't know if that played a role that it hit black layer in that extremely hot weather that we had there in August when I was doing my crop tour. We didn't actually put this field on the crop tour, you know, just because of the ground being plowed up and being warmer early on. The corn got a quicker start and happened to you know, be a little bit farther ahead in development than the rest of it, and matured out in that hot weather, whereas the rest of my corn, it didn't hit black layer until about a week after that hot weather had passed, and had, you know, another 7 days of cooler weather to really pack more starch in the kernels. I don't know if that had something to do with it. I don't think I really created a bad tillage pan whenever we did that plowing, even though we were using horizontal tillage with a disc, because this is a field Dylan and I dug in on the second part of our root tour video, and you know, we didn't see as near as much of a hard pan as what we did in my no-till ground. I don't know. Only thing I do know is I'm a little disappointed. 189, 200, 210. You know, this ought to be 240, 260 easily down through here. So really don't know what the cause of it is, but I do know that it looks like this corn either matured out earlier or it died earlier, and I think that played at least part of the reasoning on why it's not yielding quite as good. Ooh, I almost had to change my drawers. We're coming back this way, and we got a pipe over there in that corner that all of this drains down through. And anyway, got a pretty nice little cutout through there that I need to shape it up. But apparently, sometime this summer with all those floods we had, it washed out a humongous hole, probably this deep. And with this, anyway, with the sun down low, kind of right in my eyes, and this dust, I didn't even see it. And I mean, I was going slow because I knew it was a good deep down, but I didn't know it was that deep. And it slung me one side. My bin was dang near full. Spilled some off the side. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right over there. Anyway, I had to put the combine in first gear for it to pull out. The whole second gear, it wouldn't turn the tires over with that full bin. But I know this combine's built tough. If it can survive jumping a corn header at 20 miles an hour, it can survive falling off in a little hole there. That's the thing about corn harvest. You find all the surprises. And when this is your view right here for, you know, an hour or so late in the afternoon, no matter how vigilant you are, sometimes you miss some stuff. Well, we gotten well out into this field. Got about 2/3 of it done so far, and yields picked up. Still definitely below what we want, but field average sitting on about 180. But if you look at the yield map, look at those inrows. Look how terrible they were. It just killed the field average. But you know, it's okay out here in the middle. I was fully expecting if we had a farm go over 200, this is going to be it, and I didn't think it'd be any problem, but not going to happen. But I think it's probably going to be the last load we're going to cut today. Going to shut off just a little early. We got rain coming in like tomorrow night and Sunday, and that inch of rain we got this ground a lot wetter than what I thought. That's one reason we're going ahead and shelling this farm, even though it was plowed up, and it's definitely softer than my no-till. I was kind of scared of how soft it get if we got another rain on it, but I really want to get done ripping that farm that we were on, that we got rained out on. And I figured tonight's probably about the last chance we'll have to do it before that water starts getting down that subsoil. Even though it's a little soft on top, I know deep down there where we're ripping that subsoil, it should still be bone dry and still do a good job. But after this rain that comes in, might not do a good job. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that part of the farm finished. And then, because this farm's doing, you know, not what I thought it should, and we plowed it up this spring, and we're running heavy equipment on it when the ground's a little soft. I'm gonna probably drop in this field and make a nice little strip in the middle where we can see next year if compaction was a problem on this farm. Be a nice little test plot that we get to see from the road every time we drive by. Jordan's really curious about it too. You know, Jordan's the guy that's let me use his tractor, and he's got corn right across the road from here. Said it was some of the best corn that he has ever shelled. and he ripped that farm across the road, like I said, 4 years ago or so. So we're going to drop in here right down the middle. I don't know, maybe rip 100 feet wide or so, and we'll have cotton here next year. And I'm sure Jordan will have cotton across the road where he had corn this year, and make a pretty good comparison there, seeing how much ripping actually helps.